Hey everyone, I've got the Ego 3200 PSI pressure washer. Let's get out of the box and see what's inside. This is the Ego 32 PSI pressure washer. And I gotta tell you, this thing is really well built, has a nice fit and finish, is very well thought out. So let me just kind of go through everything that comes in the box. First, we got the pressure washer itself. It has a collapsible hideaway handle. On the back here, actually, is a place for a footstep in case you need to push this down to get some leverage to go over something irregular on the ground. That's kind of a nice feature. There's also a strap back here, and this is what's going to hold your pressure washer hose on board. So it kind of straps in behind there, so you always have the hose with the pressure washer. It has large, very hard wheels, so it makes it roll over the ground real easy. So again, really well thought out. Now, it comes with a whole lot of different accessories, including tube. This is the kit form. Now, you can buy this as a standalone unit because a lot of you already have Ego batteries and battery chargers. You don't need to buy more. You can use the same batteries you use in your leaf blower in the Ego pressure washer, but this is the kit, so it has everything. So let me just start off with that. So it has two of the Ego 56 volt 6 amp batteries, okay? And when these come in the kit, they have some amount of charge to them, but you do want to put them in the charger and get them charged up before you use it. Okay, so besides that, let me just go ahead and show you where those go. So you pull this lid up, and then what's cool about this is they just kind of lock in there. It's a real solid, listen. Click, and then when you go to pull it out to charge it, there's a release button you need to pull up and it'll just pop right out there. It's kind of spring loaded. So this is where the batteries go. There you go. And then of course, close the lid, keeps water, dirt, and debris from getting into there. Okay, so besides that, there's only a few things you have to assemble here. Now, this is the wand holder, and there's a place for the tip, and there's a place for the wand that mounts up here. And just real quickly, the way I do this is kind of tricky, but take and put your screwdriver through the hole, put the screw in there, and it's a lot easier to get that in there and get it started and then tighten it. I always tell people the little things are the big things. That's a little technique, but it takes all the frustration out. Then same thing here. I'm going to, let's see, this goes like this. So I'm gonna put my screwdriver in here, put my screw on the head on the screwdriver tip, pull it back out, shove it through the hole, and then I can go ahead and line it up and attach it without fooling around for 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, anyway, that gives you a stable place to keep the wand on board, and that's kind of nice. You know, I've used some pressure washers that just had really poorly thought out ways to hold things onto the tool, and then you never have them with it. But then this will just fit down inside there like that. You can also print the whole wand down to there, and I'll show you that later when we fix this together. Anyway, so that's basically the only symbol you have. Put the wand holder onto the side of the unit, put the batteries in, and that's it. Okay, so now let's take a look. This thing comes with multiple components. First of all, I just want to show you this. This is something that really makes this unique. This is for using a siphon, and it has a filter. So what you do is you attach the filter, you undo all this, and you stick this in a bucket, and I'll show you this outside. And what this means is you can take and put the filter side into the bottom of a bucket or even a pond or lake or river, and the filter, of course, will keep the large debris from getting into the pump, and then you hook this side up over here to the pressure washer itself. So this means you can take this pressure washer without a supply of water, like a garden hose. You can use it anywhere as long as you've got water you can place into some sort of container it can draw from. It has a built-in water pump. So that's a pretty cool feature. And of course, you can just hook it up to a normal garden hose so you have solid, continuous feed of water. But the bucket method actually works pretty good. And again, I'll show you that outside. Okay, so you've got the filter vacuum, or the siphon hose right here. Then you have a 25-foot long pressure hose. And this is actually really high quality too. It's just, it doesn't have a memory to it. It doesn't coil up. It stretches out really nice. And it uses these really nice high quality brass fittings with some stainless steel, looks like stainless steel ball bearings in there. So very nice. And of course, those are just attached right here, and I'll show you that outside. Now, let's look at the tips here. This comes with a rinse tip. It comes with a 15-degree spray pattern tip. It comes with a 25-degree spray pattern tip, and it comes with a very gentle 40-degree power spray wand tip. And then it also comes with this unique tip. This is a turbo tip. And what this does is, it's hard to see with your eyes, but video usually captures. It spins the circle like a tornado. So it gives you a little extra cleaning or scrubbing strength using just water. And then these all have an onboard place to hold them. So let's see, there's these little rubber grommets in here that snugly holds them in place so you don't lose them. Just like that. Okay, so let's take a look at the wand next. So the wand is kind of interesting. This is what kind of separates this from a lot of the different pressure washers in the market, in that this has a Bluetooth built in. And the reason for that is because there's 3 different pressure settings that you can adjust either on board right here just by pushing this button in, and then there's 3 bars here you can watch to see which setting it's on. Or if you're already working on the car, you can just take your finger, press this button, and you got to look carefully because outside it's kind of bright and these are a little bit on the dim side, but you can see the low, the high, the high and then the turbo setting. And you can adjust that all right here from the wand. And one of the first things you want to do when you power this thing up is you want to take and follow the directions to connect this through a Bluetooth to the actual unit. And again, I'll show you that outside when we do it out there. Okay, so you have this component, then you have the wand. Now the wand you need to assemble, but it's real simple. This just attaches here, screws on. And then if you want to, you get a pliers and just make it snug. I'm just going to snug it up for here like that. And then this will attach to the actual handle here. And this has something that a lot of people hasn't really covered, but after you use the spring-loaded quick connector to attach the wand, this right here is actually a plastic nut. So you can actually kind of just snug it down, and that'll keep the wand from rotating, loosening, or coming apart. So that's kind of a nice feature. Then, of course, to use the different fittings, again, quick release, you just pull this back, stick that in there. Put the pattern either horizontal or vertical the way you want it, and then you'd be ready to go ahead and start blasting with some high pressure water. Okay, so those are the tips, those are the wands, and again, then the wand, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can just feed this down in here, onboard storage for the wand. You can also, if you have this thing torn apart, so for example, say you're using the pressure wand, loosen the nut, pull this back, this can slide down. Oops. There we go, like that. And this will actually sit here by itself right there. So either way you want to store it, you got 2 different options there. Okay, and then this comes with a foam gun. Now this is the one it comes with. It's a 5mm foam gun. It works really well, and I'll show you this outside. You can adjust the vertical spray or horizontal spray by twisting this. Then you can also control the amount of foam. So if you turn this thing all the way counterclockwise, you get the least amount of foam. If you crank this thing down all the way clockwise, you get the most amount of foam. And one of the things I've noticed about people, I've never met anybody that wants less foam. I want less foam today. Everybody wants the most foam. People like their car to look like it has shaving cream on it. So for the most part, you crank that thing, turn it down all the way, and you'll get the most foam. I also want to share this with you. This is an optional Ego foam gun. It's twice the volume. So this is 500 mil, this is 1,000 mil. And it just works a little bit better. Plus, most of us have larger SUVs and trucks, so it's nice to have the extra capacity so you don't got to stop in the middle of foaming a car, mix up some more soap solution so you can get back to using the foam gun. Besides that, I think that's pretty much it. The battery charger is pretty straightforward. You have 2 bars here. When the battery's fully charged, they'll light up. You can also push the button that'll be on the front of the battery and it'll fully light up too to show you that the battery's fully charged. Now, besides that, it also comes with a complete set of owner's manuals, a warranty card, and something I thought I'd share that I think a lot of people miss is this little poker here. And what this is for is sometimes because of minerals and stuff, the tips on your pressure washing tips here can get clogged. So you take that off and you just kind of poke it in there, clean it all out, you're good to go. Now let's take this outside and I'll show you how it works. Now that I've moved everything outside, let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how to use this Ego 3200 PSI pressure washer. First thing I'm going to do is I want to put these batteries in. Now, while we were going through what's in the box, I already had these fully charged. So they are absolutely charged to the hilt, so I have plenty of power. And this is really nice. It has a splash guard lid. They just kind of drop in, and there's a solid locking click when they're all the way connected to the probes in there. Okay, so now I can push the buttons here. I can make sure I got full power. Now I'm gonna hook up the water before I turn it on. So there we go. Put the lid down, keeps the batteries dry. Now, the cool thing about this pressure washer, besides being battery operated and 32 PSI at 1.2 gallons per minute of flow, is you have the option to do the traditional method, hook this up to a garden hose, which I have right here. But another option is you can draw water. It has a built-in water pump, and it can siphon water out of a secondary water source like this 5-gallon bucket. And I guess this means if you needed to, say you're on a boat dock, you could put it down to the water. So the first thing you want to do with this is it does come with a little filter. So you want to go ahead and install the filter. Okay, we'll just dunk that into the water. And then for all of my water hoses, because I end up washing a lot of cars, I always put quick disconnects on everything. And it just makes it faster to hook everything up. So I've already got a quick disconnect on here. Come down here, put it on there, and now I can go ahead and turn this on. Oh, better way, it's gonna pump water till I get that out. But once I do that, then it'll start pulling water right out of that bucket and into the wand. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and attach, this is the wand. They say this is a 25-foot hose, but it's actually quite a bit longer than that, like another foot or two. So it's a fairly long hose. It's more than enough to get around the car when you're washing the car. Okay, so here's my hose. Now, before I hook this up to the wand, when we were going through what was in the box, I told you that another cool feature about this is you have a control for the 3 different settings. You've got the low, the high, and the turbo. You can adjust those here and monitor which level you're on with the bars here, or you can control it right from the wand. But the first thing you gotta do is you gotta take, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the battery back in. This is like a watch battery. It goes right in here. So there's a little flappy lid, pull this open. And I'm reinserting this because I'd already connected it to the Bluetooth once, so by taking the battery out, it'll have to reconnect. Okay, so we got that going on. Whoops. Let me go ahead and hook this up so I can pressurize this thing. Okay, so quick release for that also. We'll go ahead and put this on. And one thing I just want to show you about this, I covered it in there, but besides using the quick release to attach the wand, you also have a locking nut right here. Might not look like it, but just take and snug that down. That keeps everything in position as you're working around the car. Okay, so now if I turn this on, let me go ahead and put a tip in here too. I'm going to start out with just the 40 degree nozzle. It's a really safe nozzle to use when you're using a pressure washer. We'll turn this thing on. It's going to go ahead and prime itself. There we go. And we've got pressured water drawing right out of the 5-gallon bucket. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so now that I've got this thing pressurized, I'm gonna go ahead and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect the Bluetooth to the wand. And to do that, what you wanna do is you just wanna come down and do a long press on this. So press it down and hold it in until you see these 3 bars light up and then blink. Okay, there they go, they're blinking. Now I'm going to come over to this one, just kind of hold it down here next to it. Same thing back here on the turbo speed button. I'm going to push this in and just hold it until I see all 3 bars light up. Once you see all 3 of these bars for the low, the high, and the turbo blinking at once, you know the Bluetooth is connected. And what that means is now just by pushing the turbo speed button right here, you control it for low, high, or turbo. Pretty convenient instead of having to walk back to the pressure washer. Okay, so now that we got this connected, power's on. That's the 40 degree tip. Let me just kind of show you what the different tips do in case you've never used a pressure washer. So this is the 40, and what this means is it's going to put out a fairly wide pattern spray. You can see that. Okay, and that's probably the safest tip there is because it's really just putting the water out there in a wide pattern. Okay, so that's the 40. We'll come down here to the convenient little, here's the 25, the green tip. Let me show you what that looks like. This will give you a little bit more cleaning power because it's going to be a little bit more defined or smaller spray pattern. This would be something that'd be good for wheels and tires or maybe getting to the wheel wells. Okay, we'll pull out the 25 and we'll go ahead and insert the 15. And this is what a lot of people would call a pinpoint. Okay, it's going to put down a very extreme fine spray pattern, very narrow. See that? And notice how I'm staying a little bit further away from the paint. You know, you just want to be careful when using a pressure washer, but this would be good for doing some really heavy cleaning, like cleaning concrete, cleaning the sides of walls, fences, things like that, grout. For this demonstration, I'm going to go back to the very safe 40-degree spray tip. Let me go ahead and show you the turbo nozzle now. This is cool. I'm not sure if Flex's or Ego's the only person that's ever done this, but this is cool. And what that's doing is it's spinning that water in like a tornado effect. So it's pretty cool. It gives you a little extra cleaning power if you ask me. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this out. We'll put it back in here so we don't lose it and go back to our 40 degree. And this is what I would use to give the car an initial rinse, just to remove all the loose dirt before washing the car. We are ready to start washing this car, but I want to show you something else here. Whenever you're, let me jump up here, whenever you're using a foam gun, a lot of times, you know, and I teach classes, so we're foaming multiple cars, and I need to refill my foam gun. It can be kind of messy out here because when you're adding the water and the soap, a lot of times you get a lot of soap suds and the things, so you don't get a full container of soap solution. So what I do is this is just a 1-gallon jug, and I've filled this with this container right here. I filled this 6 times with 500 mils of water, and then I put a tape line. I put a tape line right here, so I know when I fill this up to here, I've got 6 times 5 mils or 6 jugs, and then I'm going to add 1 ounce per 500 mil. So I have 1 ounce to 500 mil. But I did this 6 times, so I'm going to times that by 2. So I'm going to put in 6 ounces of car wash solution. So I'm going to take my lid off here. This is the Dr. Beasley's ceramic body wash. And what's really nice about this is it's just a pure soap. And here's where this is important. Anytime, okay, so there's 2 ounces. Anytime you're washing a ceramic coated car, really what you want is a pure soap. You don't want a soap that has carnauba or graphene or SiO2 because what this does is it kind of puts whatever's in the car wash soap onto your ceramic coating. That could be either a good thing or a bad thing, but for the most part, you just want to wash with the pure soap and then get all the dirt, road grime, traffic film off of the paint so the coating can do its thing. Bead up water, keep the car itself cleaning, amazing shine and protection. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm gonna put the lid back on here. Now I have a pre-mixed solution of car wash and water. And when you're working on the fly, like we're out here trying to beat the sun, always wash the car in the shade, and we have shade out here till about noon. But now I can just take this, instead of trying to pour the water and the soap into here, I can just take and pour it right from the jug, and if I run out, I can come back and get another filling from the jug that's already got pre-mixed car wash solution in it. Takes just a few extra minutes to do something like this, but when you're in the middle of washing cars, it's kind of a nice way to just, it's just a good practice. Works for me. Okay, so then after I fill it, I'm gonna go ahead and put the nozzle on, twist it till it's snug. Now it's ready to go onto the wand. In order to use this, I'm gonna take this off down here. Gotta loosen the nut first, pull this back. My hands are slippery. There we go. And then attach the foam gun. Just like that. And whenever you're doing this, you always want to make sure that this completely locks on to whatever it is you're trying to do with it. So otherwise, if you pull the trigger, it might fly off and then it'll hit the car. Okay, so I want to use a vertical pattern. So I'm just going to twist this until I see the sprayer in a vertical pattern like that. Oh. After a few minutes, this go ahead and turns off just to say battery power. There we go. And that is how you use the Ego 3200 PSI battery controlled pressure washer. Pretty cool little setup. Now the application for this, you know, there's something for everybody out there. You've got electric pressure washers, you've got gas powered pressure washers, and now you've got incredible battery powered pressure washers. And it just may help some people. For example, say you'd like to take dirt bikes or swamp buggies out in the mud. You got a way to clean these without having to pack around extra gas or having a water hookup or a electrical power hookup. You got the power, it's in the batteries. So they're just different applications. For some people this may work, some people want to go with a traditional gas or electric version. But if you do have a situation where you need to be off-site and away from everything, now you've got a way to use a pressure washer. Pretty cool, huh? So let me show you how to use a pressure washer to wash a car without a hose, without power, using the multiple microfiber towel wash method. And the idea behind this is, instead of using one mitt or the dual bucket method to wash a car, every time you move to a new panel, you just grab a fresh wash mitt, or in this case, a fresh towel. And that way you're not transferring dirt from one panel to the next panel. So let me show you how to do that. First, we're gonna add some soap to our water. This is just clean water. This is the Dr. Beasley's ceramic body wash. It's a pure soap. And then wherever I go, I take my stirring stick with me. Here it is right here. Okay, I'm gonna stir this up so I have a uniform mixture of car wash suds. And then I've got 10 clean, very soft, fuzzy microfiber towels. I'm just gonna dunk them in here, okay? And again, the idea being is, after you use one towel, say on the roof, you quit using that towel, switch to a new towel. That way you're not transferring dirt from one panel to the other panel. And I know a lot of people say, well, Mike, you can kind of rinse the mitt off as you're going around, and you can, but why not just eliminate that whole risk and just use multiple towels, or like we showed in another video, multiple wash mitts. Okay, so we got our towels ready to go, we got our wash mitts. Let me go ahead and show you how to use this pressure washer. Now, I've already dialed this in. I've turned on the turbo setting, so I have the most pressure. I have a full bucket of water back here, and I've adjusted this to the point where I like it, the amount of volume and the pattern that's coming out. Okay, so there's two kinds of ways to use a pressure washer to wash your car. You can do a pre-soak and rinse, or you could just foam it and start washing. I'm gonna show you both methods. Now, the idea behind this is you spray the whole car down with your soap solution and you let it dwell. And see, that's one of the features of a foam can is it creates this thick, frothy car wash suds. And because it's thick and frothy, it dwells, it sticks, it cleans, it hangs onto the body. Now, the chemical cleaning agents in the soap can do their job and go to work loosening any loose dirt, pollen, road film, or traffic grime. Okay, so it'll get these things kind of loosened up. And then you're gonna come back and you're gonna take and wash the car and wash that soap off. And the idea being, hopefully, you're gonna remove a lot of the dirt off the car because the soap dissolved it, loosened it, so it'll flush off. And that way, when you do go to wash it using a towel or a wash mitt, there's less dirt on the car to induce swirls of scratching. So now I'm gonna put a 40-degree tip on here. And of course, you don't want to let the soap ever dry. So we're to a point now where it's been dwelling for about a minute. We'll go ahead and rinse this off. Okay, so you get the idea. So you foam the car, let it dwell, power blast it, all the foam off, hopefully take a lot of dirt with it. And now you're ready to actually wash the car. So now we're gonna switch back over to our foam cannon. And I'm just gonna demonstrate this on the hood, the correct technique, but you would copy this over the rest of the car. So lay down your foam. Then once you've done that, this is how you use the multiple towel method. So I've got all these towels in here soaking in my car wash solution. I'm just gonna take one out. And here's the correct technique to wash a car that's already in good shape. So there's two kinds of car washes. There's what's called a prep wash and a maintenance wash. This is a maintenance wash. This thing's already been polished and actually coated, so it's ready to go. So a maintenance wash is where you want to be very careful because you're trying not to induce any more swirls and scratches. Now I want you to understand this concept. If this thing is already polished and has a coat of wax, a paint sealant, or a ceramic coating on it, any dirt that did not blast off with that initial foaming and rinsing is still very loose on the surface. It's not like a neglected car with oxidized paint where the dirt can actually make a bond to it. It's just sitting on the surface. And for that reason, you don't want to be scrubbing the paint. This is a maintenance wash. So take your towel, lay it down, start in the middle, and then just make some gentle passes back and forth as you work outward. Okay, and you're done. Okay, I'm gonna do this for demonstration, but this is not what I would do in the real world. You don't wanna do this. Okay, you don't need to be scrubbing paint that's already polished and protected with the wax, the sealant, or a ceramic coating. So just one pass, work your way out to the outer fender, always start in the middle of the panel, work your way out. Let me flip over to the other side. Oh, and at this point, you could go ahead and get a fresh towel, okay? And you can use as many towels as you want to. I usually do one towel per panel, but let me just demonstrate the whole concept of multiple towels. So this towel's clean, there's no dirt on it. I slap it down here, same thing. Start in the middle, make these gentle passes, working my way out, and I am ready to rinse this panel. And that way, you do not induce or put swirls and scratches back into the paint that you've just polished out or paid someone else to polish out if you're a do-it-for-me kind of person. And remember, you put this on, there's a little lock nut. You just want to snug that down just a little bit. I got my 40-inch tip on there. I'm still pulling water out of my 5-gallon bucket. And that's how you would use a pressure washer to wash your car, using the multiple towel method for a scratch-free finish. Okay, so now that I've washed the entire car, let me show you 2 ways to dry it for a scratch-free finish. Okay, so we're talking about using the least invasive method to get the water off the car so you don't put scratches in the process. Now, this is a drying towel from the rag company. It's called the Gauntlet, and there's a lot of these on the market. There's a lot of companies that have these. They're very nice, but the most important thing with these things is you got to keep them from becoming contaminated because they have this plush microfiber weave, but that plush microfiber weave also grabs things. They embed in there. Then when you wipe your car, you scratch the car. So keep them off the ground. When you're done using them, wash them, dry them, store them in a clean place. Now, the way these things work, and as you can see, look at the water beating up. So this is a Dr. Beasley's coating on it. And what that does is it keeps the car cleaner longer. This is what a ceramic coating does. It lasts longer because it makes a semi-permanent bond to the paint. It keeps the car cleaner because when it rains, it naturally flushes the dirt off because the water doesn't want to stick to the paint. And because it lasts longer, it protects longer. So it makes washing and drying faster and easier, the protection lasts longer, and of course you get amazing gloss out of it. So the way you use this is you just drag this across, and look, it just pulls. All that water wants to get off, it's hydrophobic, it wants to get off the finish and go into the towel. Another way to do this would be to use a leaf blower or some sort of compressed air. And for that, you just turn this thing on and there's 2 ways to dry your car for a scratch-free finish. If you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you hit the like button as we bring out new videos. You always want to make sure you're the first to see them.